Hey YouTube. So yesterday, 1 month ago, was when I got out of my second 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat. And I wanted to talk about what's been going on in the past month since I've left. For a slight disclaimer, first of all, I actually have narcolepsy, and about three weeks ago, I'll say, I got given dexamphetamine. So anything I say could be related to that. I take them on one day or another day, I don't really notice too much difference. So I don't think the drugs has helped my meditation at all, but I thought I would mention it just in case. Second of all, I think it's important to say that when you leave the 10 days, they recommend that you do one sitting in the evening and one in the morning. They say about 1 hour each sitting is good. Also including a few 1 hour group sittings I've done in London, right next to my university. I think a median number of time a day I've been putting towards this is about an hour. I do normally about 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening, but that changes sometimes. So for the past month, it's been quite interesting to see what's been kind of occurring and what I've noticed from practicing, formally and informally. Formally being sitting down and informally being on the train when I'm catching a train or something, kind of meditating there, or when I'm walking. Like, that's informal, and a formal meditation for me is when I sit down, peace and quiet, and I've dedicated that time to meditation. One thing I've noticed is my bodily sensations. Whatever I'm doing, I'm now more aware of what's going on in my body, right? So what I think the 10 days taught me of meditating was kind of not to react to whatever the sensation is, and that I've tried to implement into my life on a daily basis. So wherever I'm, like, maybe walking, I'm kind of aware of my feet. But I think a better example might be if I'm sitting down and I'm doing something and I noticed my arm, it needs itching, or does it? There's a sensation where I kind of want to itch it, but I kind of am aware of it, and I'm like, it's itchy. Let's just leave it, let's just see what happens. And I noticed it kind of quickly goes away, rather than kind of itching it straight away. Now that doesn't seem like anything major has happened in my life. I'm talking about like a little sensation in my arm, and I can itch it and nothing bad will happen and nothing good will happen, right? But I think this will kind of like later on translate massively into when it gets like a huge pain in my body. Then hopefully then I'm not mentally in agony in my mind about this huge pain in my body. I'm just kind of like, right, it is pain. It is what it is, kind of thing, right? I think maybe within years and years and years this could really reduce. Another huge thing from this body sensations is one of my main goals, I think, was when I came out, was to stop cracking my knuckles. And I think from cracking them a lot, and I mean like very consistently, I could be by the computer or within a 2-hour time frame and I'll crack them about 4 or 5 times, I think. Now I've noticed, before I crack them, I put them back, kind of thing. I'm aware of it, like I will go to crack it, but then that's when I catch it. You know, that's when I'm like, oh fuck, don't crack it, and go back. And there has been times when I'm thinking of cracking them and I kind of don't even go into that position, right? So it is improving. And I think I've reduced the cracking my knuckles by 75%. And that's the whole of my body, my toes, my ankles, my knees, my hip, my back, my shoulders, my fingers, my neck too. So that's a huge improvement. Now the breath for me has been something that I've been constantly like kind of catching and reeling in and being more aware of. And it's quite interesting because I've noticed it in two different types of ways. I've been noticing my breath. One is like mentally. First I'm like, oh fuck, hang on, let's just see what my breath's doing, and then I'm aware of it. But the most interesting for me is when I'm just kind of like doing whatever activity. Let's say I'm talking to someone, or now I'm having a conversation, but now I'm listening to someone. Sometimes I will just quickly be aware of my breath naturally and continue talking to someone, and I notice it at a time, but I kind of reflect on it after that conversation. So it's interesting how it's kind of been going on, and I think the biggest times I've noticed this happen is if someone says something that I may dislike or disagree with, or something along the lines of this, I will, if I'm angry, I think I've been a few times where I wanted to be being angry, the first thing I've noticed is this part here, and I just notice it just kind of like a bit harder and deeper breath that's going on, and it's like, And then after 3, 4, 5 breaths, I notice it just naturally calms down. And then I don't really react verbally or physically at all. After that, I'm just kind of like, right, okay. You know, it's so weird. It's actually really weird to kind of describe. And people watching this right now, you might not actually quite understand this, but once you kind of go through this, or if you have gone through this, if you kind of reflect on it, it's kind of like, fuck, like, I think it's safe for me to say, a while ago, had someone that said something I didn't like, I might actually kind of react in a way that I might want to, but now I first kind of observe my breath and then I react less or not at all. So, and when I say react, I mean like, I can say something and I'm reacting, but I don't want to, my intentions are not to kind of put them down or shut down everything they say or completely disagree with them. It's just kind of to be assertive in what I want to say. So that's a huge, another huge take I've benefited from. So, now these 2 points that I mentioned about the breath and the bodily sensations, like, I think a lot of people right now watching this may think this is kind of very minimal things you took away from 20 days of meditating in total and daily meditating. I think like it's quite easy to say that it's a very small thing that I've taken away from this, right? And I think you're right in some circumstances, but also in the other ways. It's very small things, but I think they can have a huge, big impact on my life. So what I've noticed is when I'm on the computer, which I spend a lot of time on, and it may be reading, writing, YouTubing, studying, researching, whatever it is, I notice just before I go to bed, I will want to meditate, but what I've noticed is going straight from the computer to meditating, it hasn't been a great thing to jump into something like that. So I think the reason why this is, it's because when I'm on my computer, I tend not to do just one thing. I'm multitasking a lot, and that could even mean like on Google Chrome when I've got like 15 tabs open, what I will do is I'll find something I'm interested in, I'll start reading about that, and there'll be a word or a phrase or something relating to that I don't know what the meaning is or want to find out or want to learn about. So I'll open a brand new tab and look into that. And I will forget about the last one. Not forget about it, I'll just leave that last tab open, go onto this tab, start reading about that. There'll be another word, phrase, something else I'm interested in, open up a new tab, and I'll kind of go like that, and I'll be jumping around, and I'll kind of have like 10 half-read articles and other words that I want to read into, and I'm multitasking, and I'm reading, and I'm all over the place, right? So then when I want to sit down and I want to formally meditate, what I noticed happens is my mind is extremely agitated. Like, it's very agitated. I sit down, and the first thing I do is I'm aware of my breath for about a few minutes, just to calm my mind down, and I start scanning my body. But what happens is, it takes me a lot longer to calm my mind down before I start the actual Vipassana meditation. So that's not good or bad, but it does make my meditation that much more difficult. And I think from what I've noticed in my past is I try to solve I try to solve a problem, and I think I try to solve it from I try to solve the wrong problem. Now, lots of people I think I've noticed, and this is why I'm going to start making more videos, but this is what I've noticed. I will have something I don't like, and I want to change that, and I think it's a problem. But I will change the problem from like the very outside of it, and I won't focus on the core of the problem. Now, to kind of give a good example, going back to the computer, my mind I find is more agitated from being on all the, on researching so much and being on the computer. I find my mind is very agitated, and I want to cure the agitated mind. I want to fix that problem. And I think that's what I used to do in the past, and I think a lot of people can kind of relate to this. They try to cure that agitated mind, they try to fix that problem, but the problem is not the agitated mind. That's the aftermath of going on the computer and having all these tabs. And that's not to say that I want to completely eliminate all the tabs and everything like that. I love being on the computer, and I'm going to carry on doing it, but I think you've got to kind of cure the problem of the computer to cure the agitated mind. Don't cure the agitated mind, because if you cure the agitated mind, it's always going to come back right after you go from the computer. And I think that applies to anything that you do in life. Whatever your problem is, I think I've noticed from my perspective, and I spoke to many people, they try to cure that problem. You don't want to cure that problem. You want to cure the problem that's causing that problem. You don't like that agitated mind, and you want to cure. The best way to cure it is to cure the core, and then the agitated mind will go away. I'm not going to stop going by the computer. Like I really enjoy it. I'm going to carry it on. But there are ways that I could reduce this agitated mind by maybe taking a different approach to the computer, right? Or a different approach to going into meditating right after I finish the computer, or before that, read a book. Just do something that I think would calm my mind down a lot more. And I think one good thing for me would be books, but like away from the computer screen, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then go into meditating. And then I think that way I've given a break, because I can easily read a book, but if I go straight to meditating, my mind's like... So to kind of conclude this whole video, from the past 1 month of meditating at home and in uni or in group sessions, wherever it may be, I've noticed that I'm now kind of meditating more in day-to-day life, informally, whether it's talking to people in activities, in the gym, wherever I am. I'm kind of noticed that I'm being more aware of a certain sensation, whether it's my breath or my body, and I'm kind of not reacting it, or I'm just aware of it and that's it. And I think, like I said, over time this will translate into something that will benefit me more. It takes time to translate. It's been 1 month of practicing. It's not been a long time at all. I'm looking forward to hopefully making more videos to help people that I've been in problems with in the past, and show people that there are ways of solving these problems, fixing them, and looking into them from a different perspective, and being hopefully a lot more happier. And that's not just through meditation, there's a million things that I've done. But thanks for watching. If you like this, like it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.